The Vanishing of Jaycee Dugard, A True Nightmare. Chapter 1. The Day She Vanished. It was June 10th, 1991, a warm morning in Myers, California, a small town near Lake Tahoe where pine trees stretched toward the sky. 11-year-old Jaycee Lee Dugard woke with a flutter of excitement. School was nearly over. She slipped into a pink shirt and sneakers, her blonde hair pulled into a ponytail, then kissed her mom, Terry Probin, goodbye. Backpack in hand, she stepped onto the gravel path of Washon Boulevard, heading for the bus stop. Her stepfather, Carl Probin, tinkered in the garage, tools clanking as he watched her descend the hill from their modest home. It was a routine walk, one she'd done countless times. Carl felt an odd twinge, a prickle of unease, but ignored it. Halfway down, Jaycee heard an engine's low rumble. A grey sedan crept closer, its pace deliberate. She barely registered it until the passenger window slid down, revealing a flicker of movement. Before she could react, an arm shot out, seizing her wrist with brutal force. Her scream pierced the air, echoing through the trees, but a stun gun's jolt cut it short. Electricity surged through her, her legs collapsing. Darkness swallowed her as the car sped off, tires spitting dust. Carl bolted from the garage, heart pounding, shouting her name. The sedan vanished around a bend, leaving her backpack abandoned in the dirt. Chapter 2. The Secret Compound. Jaycee awoke, head throbbing, wrists bound with duct tape, sprawled in the sedan's back seat. The air reeked of stale smoke. Up front sat Philip Garrido, thin-haired, wild-eyed, and Nancy Garrido, his wife, her hands restless. They whispered urgently, ignoring her. The drive dragged on, weaving through back roads for nearly 200 miles until they reached Antioch, California. Jaycee's mind spun with fear. Images of Terry's smile, Carl's voice, her sister Shayna flashing by. The car stopped at a beige house, ordinary from the street but hiding a nightmare. Philip dragged her out, his grip bruising, and shoved her into the backyard. Behind overgrown bushes and a sagging fence sprawled a warren of sheds and tents, a concealed prison. He forced her into a small, soundproofed shed, its walls blanketed, the air thick with mildew. The door slammed, a padlock clicked, and she was alone in the dark. Philip was a convicted predator, jailed for kidnapping and rape in the 1970s, paroled in 1988. Nancy, his accomplice, had fallen into his orbit in prison. They'd built this compound for Jaycee, a stage for Philip's delusions of divine purpose. To him, she was a vessel, stolen to fuel his twisted visions. Chapter 3. Years in Captivity. Time warped in the shed. Days became weeks, then years. It was cramped, sweltering in summer, frigid in winter. Philip's visits cast a shadow of dread, his voice weaving riddles of angels and missions, a mix of menace and zeal. Nancy, quieter, enforced his rules, her loyalty chilling. Jaycee survived on scraps, a stained mattress her bed, her childhood fading. At 14, she faced a new horror: pregnancy. In 1994, alone in the shed, she gave birth to a daughter, Angel, under Philip's cold gaze. 3 years later, Starlit arrived. Jaycee named them, clinging to their light in her darkness. The backyard grew into a maze of shacks where they lived, isolated from the world. Philip ran a printing business from the house, using Jaycee's help under threats against her girls. To neighbors, she was invisible, her identity buried. In Myers, Terry and Carl never stopped searching. Flyers with Jaycee's face spread across California, her disappearance gripping the nation. Terry's pleas aired on TV, Carl's guilt gnawed at him, but the trail went cold. They didn't know she was alive, raising children in a prison hours away. Chapter 4. The Collapse. By 2009, Jaycee was 29, her youth gone but her spirit enduring. She'd shielded Angel and Starlet, now 15 and 11, from Philip's worst, teaching them in whispers within their fenced world. Philip's mind unraveled, his revelations driving him to preach on Berkeley's streets. On August 24th, he brought the girls to UC Berkeley, seeking an audience. Campus police Ally Jacobs and Lisa Campbell noticed his wild energy and the girls' odd rehearsed responses. A background check revealed his past. Parole officer Edward Santos Jr. summoned him to Concord. On August 26th, Philip arrived with Nancy, Jaycee, and the girls. Santos pressed him, but Jaycee spoke. "I'm Jaycee Dugard." Her trembling voice named Terry Probyn as her mother. The room stilled, the truth breaking free. Philip and Nancy were arrested, and Jaycee's nightmare ended. Chapter 5. Beyond the shadows. The world reeled. Jaycee, missing 18 years, found alive. Terry wept at the police call, reuniting with a daughter scarred by time. Angel and Starlet, raised in captivity, faced a new reality, anchored by Jaycee. In 2011, Philip got 431 years for kidnapping and rape. Nancy, 36, to life. Their Antioch compound was exposed, a grim secret dismantled. Jaycee wrote a stolen life, channeling her pain and strength. She rebuilt with Terry and Shayna, guiding her daughters into freedom. The house remains a haunting echo of her ordeal,